I'm supposed to introduce Norman Johnson, and I don't know how anybody introduces Norman. He ought to come up and introduce himself. He'd want to be a lot better at it. He's got, 70 years worth of accolades, and I think most of you know some of them, and I don't know if anybody knows all of them at this point. But I think my favorite one is he's a friend of mine, and I'm just happy to know Norman. And he's a great friend of the Runaway Mule, and we're always happy to see him walk in the door, and we're happy to see him walk through this door right here. So just give it a nice applause for the legendary Norman Johnson.
I did my Elvis shtick when I was working with him, and afterwards, when they would introduce me, they would always say, "Now, Norman Johnson, boy, I come bounding up, and do a little twist, and and now I throw it out, and I wind up in the hospital for 2 or 3 weeks, and it's just not worth it." So I go back to some of the older songs. We're going to do a lot of stuff tonight that'll just be fun. Some of it's planned, some of it's not planned. Most of it's not planned. It's a lot more fun that way. Got a letter just this morning. It was postmarked Lufkin, Texas. It was neatly written. It was tight, offering me a better job and higher wages, expenses paid, and a car. But I can't leave now locally. I can't leave. I'm a star, a Nacogdoches star. That's what I are. You ought to see my car. I got a great big Chrysler with a big wheels, rhinestones on the spoke. I got credit down at Brookshire's, and the Milfords tell me jokes. I'm the #1 attraction in every supermarket parking lot. I'm the king of Nacogdoches. No thanks, Lufkin. Thanks a lot. I come on TV grinning, wearing pistols and a cap. It's a kiddie show, and I'm the hero of the younger set. I'm the #1 attraction in every supermarket parking lot. I'm the king of Nacogdoches. No thanks, Lufkin. Thanks a lot. That was not among my best sellers. Now here's a funny story I think you'll understand. It's about 2 popcorn kernels in a red hot pan. One turned to the other and said, "Hey man, I'm too poop to pop, and I ain't lying. Too poop to pop, just laying here for frying. Salt and butter's ready and the fire's hot, but looks like I'm just too poop to pop. Too poop to pop, and I wanna blossom. Too poop to pop, and I ain't playing possum. One on the bottom, wanna get up on top. It seems like I'm just too poop to pop. I was a state where I was born. I really came from a finer of corn. My mama and my papa were a wonderful crop. You should have seen them blow up when we put them in the pot. But I'm just too poop to pop, and I ain't lying. Too poop to pop, just laying here fried. Salt and butter's ready and the fire's hot, but I'm just too poop to pop." Who wrote that? Who recorded that? You know.
I heard about it.
You know, he's a walking encyclopedia of music. Clifford Stone.
Who?
Clifford, you know. Probably, I built him up as an authority on everything, and I asked him who Clifford Stone is. Who? He also wrote Mule Train. Mule Train, you know. Tennessee.
Bonnie Monroe.
Huh?
Bonnie Monroe did that.
No, he didn't. Tennessee Ford.
Yeah, Tennessee did too.
Yeah, but he didn't sell as many. But anyway, we'll continue this at the house. Let me explain a little bit about the direction my career has taken in the last few years. I I have come to the conclusion, regardless what the song you learn when you're growing up, Jesus loves me, he don't love me. I mean, he has really hacked at me about something. And I have had so much fun during my career. There's a lot of things he could be hacked about. I started when I was 3 years old. A bank in my hometown, Gilmer, invited me to sing a song at their Christmas party. And I sang the only one I knew. It was a big song back then called Lay That Pistol Down, made by Al Dexter, who was from Alton, by the way. And, no, you didn't know that, did you?
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Had a motel in Lufkin. Y'all, anybody remember the Dunmonger Motel? Just off Timberland? That was his. But anyway, that was the only one I knew, so I sang that. And after the show, they paid me $2. Now, my daddy made 50 cents a day, and he did hard work. So I decided, you know, if he had to do that, and I could make $2 for singing one song, I was through with manual labor. And it all kind of worked out good because about 3 years later, I hooked up with a new dynamic disc jockey in East Texas named Tom Perry. And Tom sort of adopted me. And on Saturday morning, my mom and dad would take me down to the radio studio, and I could play with all the records. He didn't care if I broke them or what, you know. And so I got the radio bug, and we started a Saturday night radio show called the East Texas Hillbilly Roundup in York. And the stars of the show was a guy named Cecil Brewer, who was one of the best country artists I ever knew. He died very young of cancer. I remember one of the saddest things I ever did was go to the fundraising thing we had for him. And the other star was one of the disc jockeys at KSIJ with Tom, who had just changed his air name. His name on the radio had been Sunny Day, and he changed it to Jim Reeves. And you'll notice this is a pattern in my life. Everybody I work for gets famous. Here I am, 71 damn years old, and I'm playing downtown Nacogdoches and peddling my books, you know. But then, let's see, Jim got famous first with Mexican Joe. And then in 1954, our whole lives were just turned upside down. This wild man from Memphis, who was 18 years old, put out a record, and people, disc jockeys would literally call each other. Well, are you going to play it? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's not country. Well, it's not rhythm and blues. We don't know what it is. And so a guy named Alan Freed in New York gave it a name. He called it rock and roll. He said, you know, every time I listen to music, it makes me kind of rock and then it kind of roll. We're going to call it rock and roll. So from then on, Alan Freed was the one who gave it the name. Alan Freed wound up in prison for many, many years for payola. I don't know what was so bad about payola. I love payola. Man, you can be sitting at the radio station and, you know, they'll bring you, you know, $1,001 bills and stick them in your pocket. Your favorite beverage. Your favorite kind of female, whatever color hair you wanted, you know. It was a merry old time, and all you had to do was play the record. Now, you know that's true, James. That is just as true as it could be. And, but anyway, Jim went to Nashville. He had recorded Mexican Joe at the Louisiana Hayride. And then Elvis had probably the shortest rise to stardom of anybody I've ever known. The first shows we did together lasted 2 weeks. He had no money with him at all. He couldn't call home because his mom and daddy didn't have any money. Nobody he knew had any money. So the second night, he was pretty hungry, and he asked me for a quarter. And I gave him a quarter, and he bought 2 hamburgers. You can buy them pretty cheap then. 2 hamburgers and a malt. And I keep thinking, all these people he gave Cadillacs to, if it had not been for me, he would have starved to death. Yeah. And that sucker died before I got my Cadillac. I meant to bring a check. I meant to bring that tonight. I've got a check that he wrote and signed to buy a Cadillac for one of the Memphis Mafia, his best friend, Lamar Fike. And Lamar wouldn't cash it because Elvis gave it to him. So the bank worked it out to give him the money and get the car. And Lamar kept the check, and I've got it at the house, and I'll try to bring that sometime. But Lamar Fike was, I guess, Elvis's best friend. Joe Esposito was his right-hand man that he leaned on. And Joe was with him all the way from the Army till the day he died. Joe was the one that ran up the stairs when poor old Ginger Alden didn't know what to do. She'd been asleep for 10 hours, and Elvis was dead in the bathroom. And Joe Esposito was the one that found him. Lamar Fike was his best friend. He would do anything for him. And Lamar Fike is another one of our group that died last year. Now I've got a little problem in that I'm getting a little bit old. It is so bad that I carry my physical therapist with me. This is the truth. Polly, would you stand up? Polly, if you'll notice, I only use beautiful nurses and physical therapists. I love the way that works out.
The neighbors are all talking though.
Huh?
The neighbors are all talking.
Yeah, the neighbors have been pretty sick. Where is Rhonda? Rhonda was there. There she is. Rhonda started out as our mail carrier, and we promoted her to resident of Walker Avenue. And she was beginning to run. Every time I walked by the house, I was with a different woman, you know. But let me recommend home health and select your nurses. I mean, you can have beautiful days, you know, just, you don't care if you're dying, you know, just go ahead. 3 times last year, the doctor told me that I was going to die. All my kids together told me I was going to die. My daughter was all distressed and crying, you know, and I told her, I said, look, baby, that's the best news we've had. Because if the doctor says I'm dying, that means I'm going to live, because they are never right. Let's see what this is. Oh, I'd love to do this sometime, it's just too long. Have you ever heard of Noah and the Lord? God.
Say that again?
Noah and the Lord.
No, I haven't.